Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Thunderheads, a podcast for Thunder fans by Thunder fans.
Welcome to Thunderheads, live from Scissors and Scotch.
Woo.
Oklahoma City, Chisholm Creek.
God,
Sponsored
so
pod.
Ooh.
Is that what this is?
I think so.
We're not live on YouTube, so I can't say thanks for watching if you're watching live on YouTube. Because the internet here, you know, this place is great, right? Jason, you got your haircut here. It looks awesome. Looks fantastic.
This is a great time.
Did you get your haircut today, Jacob?
No.
I knew it.
Because it doesn't look good.
Because it looks like shit.
The way
In comparison to Jason's hair, it looks awful.
and Justin, you didn't.
No.
You just see how long you can go without cutting
Well,
your hair.
I've got to grow it out until after Halloween, so.
Gotcha. So all that, fantastic. Like the drinks here, I'm drinking a whiskey sour. You know what? Let's just introduce everyone here first. The Thunder Time self, it is Justin, right?
I'm parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe.
I got nothing on that.
It is.
I don't know.
The opening
My
day.
uncle.
Hold on. Let's break this down. It's always in
it's always
relationship.
relevant.
It's always in relation to. Yeah, it's always relevant.
You're going way down the rabbit hole.
Remember
so I'm
the
way off.
Titans.
Yeah, it's just a song I really like.
It's a country song.
It's Dustin Christensen, Vacant Motel Heart.
I didn't realize you listen to Christian music.
That's all you're going to get from me is a stare.
That's Jacob the man.
Yeah.
Jacob man, sorry.
I was just going to say there's no way I would have gotten that. Anyways,
Good to know.
Here I am. I'm drinking a whiskey sour too with an egg white in it because
Nice.
that makes everything more dope.
And the Dark and Stormy Jason Lewis.
yes, sir.
Now the point I was getting at is these drinks are awesome. What do you have? What are you having to drink?
I'm having two separate Oktoberfests.
So
in a row.
they're doing like this Oktoberfest thing up here from
They're
Raw
out
and
of them.
Sons.
They ran out.
They
Yeah.
ran clear out
They
of them. They
ran
do
out
these
of
things
them.
all the time though, which is really cool. And they gave us these free glasses. I don't know if you can see them on the video. We're not live, but we will post this. So if you're watching the video, you'll see them. However, the internet here is just dog.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
not good.
We can't live
Well, I
stream.
mean, it's not good if you're trying to live stream a video.
Yeah, it's fine for other things. Like, if you're just hanging out here,
if
yeah,
you're trying to write
it's
a book
great.
here, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not
Do you
trying
want
to
to browse Facebook, which I did, and it was fine.
Right, you can do that.
Yeah.
But, I'm not trying to just 100% butter their bread and make them just be like, oh, they're just the best.
Scotch has faults.
Just get your internet together.
that's right.
Get it together. I mean,
They're
this is a
not
great
perfect.
place. I love it here. I'm happy to be here. It looks cool. I'm sure you guys will see. Internet, though? Bad.
Needs
Bad.
improvement.
That's their one fault. That's not too
Speed
bad
it up.
for them. you know?
Speed it up, dude.
No Rob Larson today because... What was that?
That was the horn celebrating Rob Larson's.
He just had a baby boy, so congrats to Rob Larson.
Yeah.
He just had a baby
Golf
boy
clap for the baby boy.
2 days ago. We don't know its name.
I have no idea what the name is.
I don't think he's told us what the name is.
Officially, I believe it's Baby Larson.
Yeah, Baby Larson.
Hey,
Hey,
is the name.
we decided on Billy for him, right?
Billy Larson.
Yeah, Billy Larson. It's a great sports name.
Takes after his namesake,
Yeah.
Billy Donovan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Billy Larson is that's a good sport.
He's
name.
definitely going to be a coach in the NBA
Although,
someday.
if you're going to be a Billy Larson, I think you have to be like a first baseman. Like you have to play baseball if you're going to be Billy Larson.
That's true. That is a baseball name.
Guy hits 280, 35 home runs every
Also,
year.
That's a
Maybe
good player.
Yeah.
Also flew a Mustang in the Second World War.
Probably has a mustache of some sort.
That was his grandfather, William
Oh, that's
Larson.
true. You're right. Sorry.
I was thinking maybe a professional fisherman.
I could see
yeah,
that
Billy
too.
Larson.
Billy Larson.
He's out there with PG.
Like he doesn't. You know how the fishermen? I don't know anything about fishing, by the way, but I feel like they always have like a sidekick on the boat with them.
Yeah, they definitely do. You're right about
Billy
that.
Larson doesn't need a sidekick,
Oh my gosh.
He's a badass kid.
right? His tackle box has everything. That's what he says too. I got everything I need right here in my tackle box.
Should we be careful of saddling Billy Larson with such a high burden at such a young age?
No, this is like the Simba of the podcast.
Oh dang, you're right.
He is our first podcast kid to be born
He is.
during
The podcast kid, dude.
And their number 2 is coming soon. More info on that later.
Dang.
And we got a fun show today. Not only are we at Scissors and Scotch and just surrounded by all these great people, but we're going to talk about... We have a preseason game under our belt, number 1.
Oh, basketball is back.
We have a scrimmage also under our belt. So, yeah, it's like fake basketball. Justin, you were saying earlier that, it didn't really feel like basketball, but it was basketball.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, even watching it, because I tried to get into it. I was like, Thunder basketball's back. I'm super pumped for this. And I started watching it, and I'm just like, it didn't feel right yet. Like
Right.
I know what I saw, but it wasn't what I felt like it should be yet.
It's like Summer League, kind of.
But
Yeah.
right, and a lot of that is because Russell Westbrook doesn't play.
Right.
Paul
Yeah.
George, last second, doesn't play. Andre Roberson is obviously not playing. Alex Abrinas plays limited minutes.
Surprisingly.
No Abdul Nader, which is a huge blow.
Yeah.
Can't even finish a game.
I will say I was kind of
don't know what we
bummed.
did.
I really, we talked about at camp, one of the things that everybody was talking about was they would mention Nader. And the Thunder players have always been very poised and guys that they want. Like, when Paul George was talking about his future, there were a couple quotes that everybody would bring up about how he didn't bring up Melo. He was just talking about Adams and Westbrook. People are bringing up Nader. Like, Westbrook is bringing him up. Paul George is bringing him up. And so I really wanted to see him. So I was kind of bummed.
Yeah, it is kind of a bummer, especially because when you look at last night, and let's just use this as the segue to go into it, I want to get all of you guys kind of go around the table here and just spout them off. Any takeaways, questions you may have about this team that you've just seen over the preseason, the lone game and the scrimmage, things that are like really popped off to you. I know it's only been one game, obviously, but for me, there's some stuff, and one of those things is, well, last night, no Paul George, no Andre Roberson. You have TLC start, you have Ferguson start. Obviously, that's not an NBA caliber starting wing group right there.
Yeah.
No.
But then when you see, Arenas comes in and knocks down a couple shots. But man, the Thunder are lacking wing talent, and I think that's what goes with what you just said, Jacob. Is that it would be nice to see Nader and see what he can do. Now, at the same time, how much can we really expect? Because we can go down how TLC played, we can go down how Ferguson played, go down how who else played?
Hamadou
Diallo, Ferguson, all this, Arenas, everyone.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get much there.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can expect much this entire season, right? Even based on this one game. Like, do the Thunder have one of these guys that's really going to jump off? Like, Terrence Ferguson went 2 for 2 from 3, I think.
Yeah, and Alex was 2 of 3, I think.
And by the way, Arenas looks confident when he catches and shoots.
Also,
that's the one thing in his game that he looks
last
confident.
night was excruciatingly contested.
That catch and shoot fadeaway 3 at the top of the key that was beautiful.
And nothing but net, just shot it without hesitation.
So the thing, if we step back, what you were talking about, Jacob, is in training camp, looking at the blue and white scrimmage, and looking at these preseason games, we were all talking about like what are we looking for, and the whole thing was can we find a guy who's going to step out and on that wing position and really show us something. And so far, I haven't seen much.
Not much.
No, that's a great point.
At all. I mean, like you said, Arenas and Ferguson shot okay, but they didn't like. Ferguson played the most minutes out of anybody last night and took 2 shots. Made them both. That's nice. And it's nice that he's not just chucking stuff.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because I wanted to ask with Ferguson. Yeah, he only took 2 shots, and that was kind of a big thing going around Twitter. Like, wow, he's been on the court for 20 minutes. He hasn't taken a single shot. Both his shots come later in the game, and he makes both of them, does he not?
Yeah.
I think he makes both of them.
2 for 2.
He's 2 for 2.
Yeah, he was.
And they looked good. Like, he shot them with confidence. So, number one, pretty good sign when you're on the court for 20 minutes without taking a single shot, and your first shot, you knock it down.
Yeah.
When it was a pretty big shot at that. Like, and he hit his second one that he made was a big one down the stretch that tied the game.
Yeah.
And, with a couple minutes left in the game, maybe even less.
That corner 3, yeah.
So, on one hand, you can look at it like that. And on another, you can look at it, are you getting yourself in a position where you're getting open?
Yeah.
Are you doing a good job of making yourself available to the other players? But how much of it was just the fact that you're playing with Dennis Schroder and Steven Adams, who seem to have this awesome chemistry right off the bat?
For sure.
Schroeder has 6 assists in the first half, every single one of them to Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys dominate the first half. So how much of it is just a matter of playing with those guys, and maybe Schroeder just doesn't quite have the chemistry with guys like Terrence Ferguson and TLC yet?
I think part of it's just it's the way. One thing that I really noticed was it was a lot of ISO paint attacks last night. I think it's just there's no
a lot of that.
There's no comfort in the offense quite yet. Kind of what you're alluding to is just we haven't seen the point where you flip that switch. And without Russ and without PG, it makes it kind of hard to really get into because in the back of these guys' minds, this isn't really what's going to happen during the regular season. So you almost like just kind of want to do your own thing and like try and attack and try and find your own space. And so I don't think even just like the whole game being a game really ever evolved.
Right.
And so I think that's why like guys would get into space a little bit, but there was never really an open shot generated. The passes weren't really there. It was like, I'll just attack the paint. Like, this is what I feel like I'm going to be asked of. This is what I'm comfortable with. Everything else will come later.
It is crazy. Ferguson played the most minutes of anyone on the team.
Yeah.
34 minutes.
That's
I mean,
strange.
and he only takes 2 shots. Again, makes them both. But that's his game, right? He's going to play off the ball. He's going to wait for guys to set him up.
But I mean, last year, one thing he did a lot was chuck shots when he was in the game, and you'd be like,
true.
oh.
But maybe that's the
his
thing as
shot
a
selection
rookie.
maybe improved a little.
And maybe as the thing as a rookie, you're looking to prove yourself. You're looking to say, hey, I belong here. And maybe now he feels a little more settled and like, I don't need to do that anymore. Now I can just kind of hang back and wait for my opportunities. Now, again, this is one game. Like, he might come out tomorrow night and just chuck up 11 threes. We don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is no one should assign any merit to these, like the scrimmage or this game.
Very
Really.
little.
Like,
12% merit.
yeah, 12% merit.
12%
and
is a
that's
good
what we're
merit.
going with. I like that.
But like Billy Donovan walked out without a tie on. That's how you know.
I almost just spit my beer in here.
That's how you know that it's not that big of a deal right
I
now.
couldn't see that from my vantage point
Yeah,
at the game yesterday.
didn't even walk out with a tie on. Just collared
I
shirt.
don't even know what to
nothing.
think right now.
Yeah.
A big
I
hot
would-
top. Go ahead, Jacob.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say a big deal on Twitter was TLC and his performance, which let's go to the line here. He played 22 minutes. He was 2 for 6, 1 for 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was even on the game, plus 0, had 7 points. Now, how many turnovers did he have? 3 turnovers. So he had a couple times where he got caught driving to the lane,
It was a little awkward.
bad passes, just couldn't make an open 3. Had a lot of good looks.
Yeah, he had some good looks.
Really good looks, and he had the same thing in the scrimmage too.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of scaring people a little bit is that wow, he's had a lot of good looks and he's not knocking them down.
Well, and I think a big thing there is I unfairly assign a bunch of expectations and hopes to him just because I've mentioned this in another podcast, is he played starters minutes for Philly, and I'm like, okay, this guy can come in and he kind of knows what to do already, but he still has to get comfortable, and so that's a big thing to me. He doesn't look comfortable yet.
But counterpoint,
Why not just
what's
make
more
the
comfortable
shots?
than catching a wide open 3 and shooting it? Counterpoint.
But I think maybe I put a little too high of expectation and like hoping that he would be the guy to step up, and maybe he's just not that guy.
Yeah,
maybe he's not.
I think I'm right there with you because I kind of felt that same thing, or kind of hoped for that same thing, and was like, man, he's been with a team that has blossomed for his whole career, being the Philadelphia 76ers. He's been with them when they've been bad,
Right.
and he was with them as they became good. So maybe that's a real good thing to have him just bring him in as a Thunder player and be like, wow, this guy can really play. He's been playing with really good players.
Right.
To me, I know that he's missing a lot of shots, but I almost feel more encouraged by this guy.
No, I see you there.
Because
I see you there.
he's involved. He's making himself like so.
He was
that is
playing
true.
hard.
So what you're saying about Ferguson is like, wow, only 2 shots, man. Only like he was really non-existent on the offensive side of the floor. Not TLC. He was there. Like
Yeah.
I know that he didn't play his best game, but he was at least there. He was figuring out a way to get the ball. He was figuring out a way to put it on the floor and drive to the hole. He's figuring out a way to at least try to make a play. Now maybe he's not making those plays right now, but I find it encouraging that he has the confidence to at least put himself in the positions to make those plays.
Yes.
Yeah, that's-
I'm with you. I think for me, one of my takeaways from the game was that I think this 2-guard spot that we've, the 2-3 flex position, I think we've been talking about how up in the air it is. There's Felton, there's Abrinas, there's Ferguson. You've got guys that could stretch like Nader or like TLC and Diallo. Last night kind of was good as almost a reality check for me because I started thinking like, dude, this could be way not as close as I think it is.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I almost wondered with
Can I guess what you're
Ferguson-
gonna say?
What? Go ahead.
Raymond Felton's playing.
Dude, he was assertive, man. He was controlling.
He's going to play.
What you're
Yeah.
trying to say is that we're about to eat some chicken and some soda.
That's right, dude.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the bet? Remind me.
If all 3 point guards play at the same time, chicken and
Oh.
soda.
And we were on
If
this
that-
side of it.
dude,
So
still, if that happens, dude, that's crazy.
Oh, it's
Also,
happening. It's
I'm also
happening.
upset that this is a full season bet, and if one time it happens for a second,
Yeah, that was
we're
dumb.
done.
You're right.
We
Dude,
fucked up.
it's gonna happen opening night at
that
this
wasn't-
rate.
No. Here's what I will say though. I think that Ferguson may have been deferring.
opening night. That was so
Dude, no.
Anyways.
Give us some games, please.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I was just going to say, I almost feel like Ferguson was so confident in this game that he was deferring. I mean, you look at like the shot totals. 5 shots from TLC, 9 from Schroder,
But did Ferguson really have the
6
ball?
from Grant.
Not really.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think that off of the bench with whatever backup one, I mean, obviously Schroder, but like, you know, if it's Felton or whoever, I think off the bench, I could see Ferguson being way more assertive and like taking more shots. Again, we don't know. He could go like 3 for 14 tomorrow, and like I don't know, like. But I just wonder if he was kind of like, it's the beginning of the game. This franchise showed faith in me by not trading me, even though I was in all the rumors. I'm like, I don't need to come out and prove myself.
Well, you're always going to be in the rumors when you're on a high-profile team, though. Like,
and you're a promising rookie.
Yeah, you're gonna.
You can jump high.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
but it's a weird thing
that.
Looking at these games because basically we had our bench unit out there with Adams and Patterson, and it's just a strange thing. Because all of these guys are like. All of the guys that were playing with Felton last night maybe are not even going to play that much. Outside of Nerlens, and then like the guys who started TLC and Ferguson, like they're going to be bench guys for sure at some point whenever Dre comes back.
Well, let's go back to Felton because I think this is really interesting. That dude's not shy.
No, he's not shy.
But the good thing is, like, he's confident and he's able to get to his spots here and there. Now he shot 5 for 14.
Yeah.
Schroder shoots 5 for 16. If Russ was in the game, maybe he shoots 5 for 15. Like, these point guards that are on this team,
they can't shoot.
They are not shy.
Oh no.
And they might have really good games here and there, but they're going to have some of these games too.
Couple stinkers in there.
Felton is an on-court leader though that is. In his mind, he's going to be like, we're going to get a good shot this possession.
Yeah.
Now, when we're watching the game, we might be like, that's not a good shot, Felton. But in his mind, it's a good shot because he's not a guy that's going to just...
he's taking it.
And he's not going to eat up the defense and just get someone a really good shot. But one of my takeaways is this guy's playing, man. He's going to be a part of the rotation.
Yeah. I think he'll play the 2, though. I don't know.
Well, no, I
mean, he has to play the 2.
He's going to, yeah.
Especially with his spot-up ability, he has to play the 2. But I will say
Mm.
one disappointing thing, and this is just like a picking the box score kind of thing.
Sure.
which is kind of where you end up with this game. We're one preseason game in. Mm-hmm. You kind of start to pick apart the box score. So he was a -10. And granted, and that's when the Pistons make their big breakthrough. He's got to be the guy because Schroder doesn't really play down the stretch, so he's kind of got to be the guy. But at the same time, we were always worried a little bit about the defense. We weren't worried about the physicality, but we were worried about the on-ball defense sometimes.
Yep.
And so that is one thing that I think still detracts from who Raymond Felton is on the floor. But at the same time, the guy just goes out and gets buckets, and that's such an important thing. When we saw it all last year, this offense would struggle. Raymond Felton came in, and he hit a big shot, and it really sparked the team.
Yep.
He's still going to be that guy. He's the oldest player on this team, but he's going to be that veteran leadership, and you have to have that from Raymond Felton.
So what do you guys think about, to me, the time that Raymond Felton would play is, say, Schroder comes in, spells Russ, he goes to the bench, but then you bring Russ back, or however you do it, where Russ and Schroder play a bit together, and then when you rest both of them, maybe then Felton plays. I almost
think when you play Felton, you might want to play him with one of Russ or Schroder.
Yeah, I can see that.
You don't want to force him into taking these shots that he's creating off the dribble for himself.
Yeah.
Now, last night, Felton has 5 assists, and Justin, to your point, it's not like Felton was out there with PG and Adams. And the Pistons are closing the game with Andre Drummond and Ish Smith.
Right.
They wanted to win that game.
They really
did hard.
So it's hard to blame him, but at the same time, you can also look at the box score, to your point, Justin. 12 points for Felton on 14 shots. Not good.
No.
Not good, but he did have 5 assists. So, that helps a little bit. At least he made plays for others. He's having to share the court with Hamidou Diallo, who... Guys, I'm just going to tell you, I know it's been one game. This guy's not going to be ready this year. He's just not going to be ready.
Real rough.
But I will say,
he's going to be good.
He reminds me a lot of Ferguson, what we saw last year, and the fact that he jumps high. He can go get in the middle of stuff and kind of bat around some balls. He's not going to make jump shots. He's probably, it just doesn't look.
Yeah.
It doesn't look pretty when he's doing that.
No, I'm with you. I really do. I think that. I think Felton will become that guy that that does probably get more rotation than I gave him credit. I just was not expecting him to be so.
But ideally, he doesn't get that, right? Because if someone steps up, he doesn't get those
Ideally,
minutes.
that would not happen.
But
and that's kind of what I'm thinking. I feel like he'll become like that spark guy. Like when it's not happening, when the bench is going, I feel like Donovan will say, Felton, get out there. And he comes in and it's like, all right, listen, motherfuckers, we're playing basketball right now. Like, let's go. And that's what you want. I don't know that you want to lean on him for distributing or facilitating. I don't know that you want to lean on him, but I think that he's extremely valuable for those games where nothing is coming together off the bench.
What's interesting about the Felton thing and what's tied to it, to me, is what we saw from Schroder and Adams. Now, obviously, I think this can be a collective takeaway here, and the chemistry they especially had in the first half. Now, Detroit goes in the locker room at halftime, they make adjustments, and they really I want to say Schroder was somewhere around 5 for 9 at halftime, and maybe 4 for 9 or something like that. Well, he finishes the game 5 for 16. Like, he couldn't buy a bucket in the third quarter. The pick and roll defense really improved from Detroit coming out at halftime. Now, the point is, Schroder and Adams worked really well together for a half.
Very well.
Now, you can't deny that, right?
No.
Schroder might be too good to just leave on the bench until Russ comes out.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that they're going to have to play together, despite what Jeff Siegel, who we had on, said, where he doesn't think that they're going to play. That's not happening.
The case.
They're playing together. They are going to play. Schroder is too good to not play. Another takeaway, Schroeder's picking up guys full court, man. He's making it a point trying to play defense. Now, he's not playing rock solid defense where he's just shutting guys down.
But the fact that the effort's there?
The effort.
Well, can we say, too, that was my second point. Schroder, the thing that just impacted me last night is, I hate to say this because it becomes low-hanging fruit for Thunder fans to just beat down on Melo. You guys, stop doing that. I get it. He had a bad season. Dude, he's old.
But you're about to do it?
Well, no.
Great guy, though.
He's a good guy. He's a really great guy.
Dude, he's a great guy.
You'll hear what I'm going to say.
I feel like
You'll hear what I'm going to say.
I don't mean to do this, but I'm about to do it.
Well, I just saw some tweets.
I
saw some tweets last night.
No,
I was
you
just
can.
guys,
Just say great guy.
I'm going to say a great guy, so then I can, insult how he looks. I can say anything I want.
No, anything goes after that.
Yeah.
It's like if you
I
say
said great
no
guy.
offense before you say something.
I said GG. I said GG. Yeah. No, here's what I'm thinking. Honestly,
She's here.
Anything good happens this year. Anything good that happens this year, they're going to say it's Melo's fault that didn't happen last year. And anything that Melo does that's good this year, they're going to say he couldn't do that because Westbrook or, whatever. All of that aside, the thing that I think you can look at that Schroeder is it's the first preseason game, and that dude was picking dudes up full court. That dude was... There was one play, I was at the game. There was one play specifically, I remember he was getting on.
Wow.
Yeah. I was at a Thunder preseason game, and I hate to. Dude, the floor seats are $500. Who's paying $500 for floor seats, even at a preseason game?
Something about this later. Good tease. Anyways, continue.
Okay. He got on the TLC. He missed he blew his assignment, and the guy just had a wide open dunk. But what I noticed is right after he did that, Schroeder picked up his guy full court. And this seems so small, and I'm probably reading too much into it, but for me it was that dude was getting onto his teammates about, hey, pay attention. That's a shitty play. They score because of you. But also, I'm picking my guy at full court. I'm not going to just say that and then walk back. That's in stark contrast to what we saw from Melo last year, dude. And I'm just saying,
for sure.
How many times did Melo blow his assignment and then he's yelling at Adams or something, or he's just walking down the court because he's mad?
I totally get what you're saying, but I also don't think it's crazy. You can look at what Schroeder did last night and be like, that guy's already better than Melo. Than what Melo was for.
But effort-wise,
for us.
Man, it poses such an interesting question for this team. Okay, so to me, I was just when you examine this roster, you have Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder that play the exact same position and play very similar style of offensive games. How do you find minutes for both of those? How do you maximize the effectiveness of both of those guys? Then you have Steven Adams, Nerlens Noel, Patrick Patterson, and Jeremy Grant that are all playing up front. How do you maximize the minutes? How do you find all the minutes for those guys? Right. And then you got the in-between.
Yeah.
That just contains Paul George and a little Andre Roberson. And those guys,
hopefully someone else.
So does that mean that Paul George? Does that mean that Paul George has to be amazing?
Yes.
Does this mean Billy Donovan has to just be a coaching savant,
phenom?
Genius? Phenom that just sets a standard. And for a new, because how are you going to figure out how to play Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroder, whether you stagger them, whether you play them together? Is there a chance that Schroder starts?
There is a chance.
No way, guys.
I don't know if-
Really?
I'm not
you
saying
heard it here first.
before Dre comes back is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is there
that's
a
the thing.
chance?
That's the thing.
Can Russell play off the ball effectively? I know that he did.
I think
He
Schroeder
has
plays off
done-
the ball more in this situation.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Schroeder
it's
starts with
Russell
the two.
Westbrook.
He has to.
It's Russell Westbrook.
But who's your
Although-
sixth guy? Because for me, what's
Jeremy
crazy
Grant.
is like for me, like that's less for me crazy that Schroeder is starting, and more for me crazy that you believe you have enough scoring off the bench.
Well, it's not like you have to take Russ and Schroeder out at the same time.
Right.
sure.
So,
I think this kind of goes back to what Billy has told reporters a couple times during training camp, is that he doesn't really care about who starts.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
that's also a good
It's kind of like a
deflection,
great
though.
That's true.
media answer also.
It is, but it's also like, well, bro, it does matter who starts because when you look at the box score, they're playing the most minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but he can. I mean, he's done that. I mean, there was
Sure.
games where Melo played fewer minutes than Jeremy last year because he was
Those were
obviously
good
not
games.
not enough games.
Should have been way more of those. He's a great guy, but he's a way
great
more
guy.
of those.
You're right.
But yeah, I could see them doing that maybe a couple times just to see like their best players on the court at the same time to start the game. Like you were saying, play the most minutes together.
I almost just wonder
might work.
if you force it. If you force it and say, hey, figure out how to play together.
Yeah.
Figure it out because this is what will make us the best we can possibly be.
I
Is
see
if Schroeder and Westbrook and Paul George and Steven Adams can all share the court
Because
together.
then you have Felton. You're starting PG off the bench, and
Well,
and
no. See, I think in this situation, okay.
I'm saying
this
then,
is how I'm
then
viewing
he
it.
gets
This
to
is how
play.
I'm viewing it.
You almost stagger it
look
to
at
where
the
you don't
Rockets.
have to
Look
do
at the
that.
Rockets.
Yeah.
Chris Paul and James Harden. I know that Schroeder is not Chris Paul. He's
No.
not even close to that. But I'm just saying, as far as the way they manage them on the court, that's essentially what you can do with these guys.
yeah.
But if you have two sets of 5 players that are relatively interchangeable, you don't have to run any different system. You just have the same system for 48 minutes. You don't have to go in like, oh, we've got our bench guys in. We've got to change some stuff up. There are guys that aren't going to play the same way. We have to refocus our offense. Look at how we're guarding on defense. Maybe throw in a little bit of zone. If you've got 2 sets of those 5 guys that are interchangeable, you just run the same thing for 48 minutes. There's so much continuity. You can plug and play at any point in time in the game. We talk about continuity just as having a roster that turns over from year to year looking the same. Well, how about continuity through 48 minutes where the roster is the
both
same?
sides,
Exactly.
yeah.
Where you can Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook are the same player. Now, obviously, there are discrepancies, but where you've got the same style of play,
Right.
you can do that. You don't have to change anything. That's excellent.
So
That is
this
awesome.
brings me. That was a great thing because this brings me to
We
my
planned this.
takeaway.
We planned this.
And we didn't at all.
Yes, we did. We
but we
rehearsed
might
it.
have. My takeaway from
We didn't.
the blue and white scrimmage and the game last night is Jeremy Grant and Nerlens Noel to me kind of look a little uncomfortable playing together.
Thought you were going to say alike.
They a little
bit, yeah.
sort of.
Similar body styles.
Yeah.
They do have similar
Slender
bodies.
and
Very
long
tall and
fellers.
lanky, yeah.
I call them fellers.
But my thing is-
I call all basketball
They
men
had-
fellers.
Fellers. They had
It's
so
just
many
standard. It's what. Never mind.
No, you're done.
Too far.
There were so many moments last night where it was almost awesome
Yeah.
of what they like the things they were doing. Grant had 7 dunks that were almost amazing.
Yep.
Same with Noel.
Nerlens almost had the same thing, and it's like they're getting used to each other. And I feel like Jeremy almost has a thing of like, oh, I'm the 4 now, like not doing that 5 thing. But I'm just curious to see how long it takes them to adapt to each other and play together.
Yeah.
And another thing, kind of going off what Justin was talking about, is right now Schroeder's playing with Adams and he has this great chemistry with Adams. But is he going to have that same thing with Nerlens?
Can he have that same thing with
Yeah.
Nerlens?
Does that work?
Yeah. Can
And
that
that's kind
be
of
a
my
thing?
question that I'm posing.
That is a
So-
big question. I was actually so how many minutes? And Noah plays 22 minutes, and that's mostly because Adams was benched for the fourth quarter, right? Not benched, but you know what I mean. He didn't play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no reason.
Yeah, because Billy Donovan is smart and not trying to win preseason games, which he should not try to win.
But is this a sign of things that come?
Slight Dwayne Casey?
A little bit.
Like
Andre Drummond?
How do you find minutes for Noel? How do you find the minutes that this guy at this talent level? Then it goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier about how the roster is laid out. How do you find proper minutes for this guy if he's truly like your sixth best player or whatever?
But is he though?
He's okay. So literally, Zaza Pachulia could not hold the ball around him.
Not a damn.
Every time he had the ball, Noel just knocked it away. Every single. I'm not even exaggerating.
That is Zaza Pachulia though.
Understand, but like he's been in the
what
league
you're
for
saying,
a long time,
and he's been on a team that's fucking good.
Noel has incredible hands.
I get what you're saying.
He has incredible hands, man. He really
he's good
does.
defensively. And the thing about Noel, one of my points was that I think here's what you have to remember. Again, it's as a Thunder, media outlet, we want to like be constantly talking about stuff. We don't know. TLC's not getting 22 minutes in the regular season unless he's just like insane. So for me, I think a lot of this these cogs kind of all come together. So for me, like, I don't know that you can look at Grant or Noel or Felton or some of these guys. They don't necessarily stand on their own. But I think with those stars, with Westbrook, and it bumps the whole rotation down.
Right.
I think that Noel, you don't necessarily need him to score points. And
I'm
to
not
your
saying
point,
that you do.
No, you're right.
My whole
I'm
thing is how do you get your most effective players, your most talented players, the most minutes on your team? With the way that this team is laid out, with your best players being clearly Westbrook, George is fine. Like, there's no worries about that.
Right.
But like, so just like push him off to the side. But when you talk about Westbrook, Schroder, Adams, Noel, Patterson, Grant, man, this is a cluster there, because then that leaves now your wings the wings are fine as far as Dre and Paul George go, and then everything after that is horrible. Yeah. Like at least on paper, like you're not going to get reliability out of anything. It seems
like Noel will be really contextual, don't you think? Because I feel like one of the things, like for example, I asked actually Noel this. One of the things I asked him because I wanted to know. I said, hey, what are things in the in the Thunder's last season that you saw that you said, I can help with that? And one of the things he said was, what I noticed is they just didn't have help against bench bigs. He said at the 5, they just didn't rebound. They just couldn't. And I just feel like
dig it, Dakari Johnson.
Listen,
Noel talking shit.
I think what we're looking at here is 15 to 17 minutes a game for Noel.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I'm
in the games that he's doing well,
I'm worried
if
about.
Noel does well, maybe I can't think.
My whole point, guys.
Just shut you guys down tonight. That's all I'm doing.
My whole point is this: if Nerlens Noel is playing 15 to 17 minutes a night, and one of Ferguson, TLC, one of them is playing 15 to 17 minutes a night, who would you rather be playing 15 to 17 minutes a night? It's probably going to be Noel, right? He's probably the best player out of those. And that's
like,
one
how
of the
do you
things
do that with Adams?
Like, if the Thunder can figure out a way to run, and this goes back to what I was saying about Billy Donovan, and how can he manage this team as far as lineups go? This team's best lineup that might put them at their highest ceiling would be Russ, Schroder, Paul George, Roberson, and Adams. If you can play that lineup and force teams to adjust to you,
very good time.
You don't have much shooting. You have Paul George, who's an incredible shooter.
That's all you need.
You've got a lot of length. You've got a lot of athleticism.
A lot of attacking.
A lot of defense.
And when you're saying there's not a lot of shooting, the thing that Schroeder and Russ excel at, to me, is spot-up shooting. Like catch and shoot. So if you can have them play off of each other, that's like the whole key to all of this, to me, is can those two do that?
If they play together.
Which they're gonna.
Right.
But if it works. If it works.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't even think it matters if it works. They're going to play together, like you said. How much of Rocket-style offense are we going to see where it's like my turn, your turn, but it has to be effective? It has to be. That's what makes the Rockets good, is because it is effective.
It works.
It works. Chris Paul and James Harden are elite isolation players. I mean,
the scary thing is, it's your turn, my turn, where there's reliable outside shooting. Well, and the Rockets case,
really good point.
Your turn, my turn on the Thunder. It's kind of hope that Terrence Ferguson or Alex Abrinas or TLC or
Steven Adams
Abdul
is
Nader,
open.
hell, you know what? Maybe Steven Adams develops some sort of. Maybe he kind of develops in that Cantor role, and that's kind of like, especially looking at Noel and Adams. If you can get that same sort of like weird dynamic that Adams and Cantor had, which you're asking a lot because neither one of them are as polished offensively as Cantor is, and probably never will be for that matter.
Right.
But if you can get one of them that can get at least a little bit better, and I think the obvious candidate there is Steven Adams, because we've seen that floater. Yeah. We've seen him hit those shots, and I mean he's hitting threes in practice. There's something there.
Well, Noel has like a decent mid-range game, like not last night or the night before, but.
It's nothing reliable though. Like,
no,
that's the scary part.
It's not something you're going to run plays for. Whereas Cantor, you might run a play for that.
Yeah,
but guys, if you could somehow unlock that, like you'd at least have something to go with where you could get both of them on the floor.
And maybe the thing that really just unlocks everything here is Patrick Patterson and him just coming like in the scrimmage. He was fantastic.
He was so good.
The dude was so good.
I mean, he was going against,
and he was good last night. He honestly was good.
He looked good last night.
In limited minutes, he's not afraid to put up shots. In the first quarter, like it wasn't until a couple minutes left in the first quarter, anyone besides Schroder, Adams, or Patterson took a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just those three guys taking shots. Like Patterson feels comfortable stepping up in that role, I think.
I almost think the thing about Patterson to me this year is, will he stop passing up shots?
I think he will.
Other guys?
He's showing confidence.
Of a big deal, and he's started to look like that so far. But it's when you get into the real stuff, is he gonna whenever he has an open shot, is he gonna swing it or is he gonna take it? And
you gotta find the happy medium there, though, because you don't want him to.
I don't want him to overtake him.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think he's the type.
Yeah, he's definitely not the type to overtake. I just want him to take the good ones when he gets them.
Sure. Guys, we have to change the subject. Something big just happened.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, not huge. So, last time we were here, last time we were here, I'd like it to be known that we found out in the middle of the podcast that Boogie Cousins, a Thunder spokesperson informed media Thursday night that Andre Roberson had a setback in his rehabilitation from left patellar knee surgery. He will be reevaluated in 2 months. So he won't even be reevaluated until, what is that, mid-December?
That's December 4th is
Jacob,
exactly.
I don't know why you felt like bringing us down.
I'm sorry, dude,
much.
but we have a duty to the people.
Wow.
That's
huge bummer.
Really massive.
Changes a lot.
And my mic might have been unplugged.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, cool.
That puts the onus on Dennis Schroder. That puts a lot of onus on Alex Abrinas to get it together and go.
Can this team be what they need to be without Andre Roberson, man? I just have my doubts.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's scary, man.
That's tough.
2 months?
Here's the thing. If they can make
worse than I thought.
If you can be who you need to be by the time that... I mean, this sounds so stupid, like one of those, Yogi Berra quotes, but if you can be who you need to be by the time you need to be it doesn't matter. But can you get a good clip going?
I don't know.
Where you coming into the new
man? One thing I almost brought to the table tonight is one of my takeaways, one of my questions, and it goes right in line with my concerns that I've had tonight about the weight of the distribution of talent on the team and positionally and everything. Now with this news, man, I wonder.
That's tough.
Is one of Patterson, Noel, Ferguson, even Schroder, someone going to be used as trade bait here and try to get a solid wing? At some point, you gotta get a solid wing, man.
If it was Schroder, we'd be getting a huge haul.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Atlanta's been trying to trade him for 2 years.
Where's your leverage? Where's your leverage in this situation?
I mean, he's got to play well. I mean, you got to. I don't think you can just do it cold. So he's got to have. He's got to build.
Can we trade him yet? Isn't there
no? I mean, it would. I think you're. If I get what you're saying,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think you trade him immediately.
This is a bummer. You bummed me out.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bum you out.
This is good. I'm glad it happened at least during our recording and not after. I mean, what do you do here? Number one, who comes to mind? Who starts?
It's got to be Abrinas. I feel like it's got to be Abrinas. I don't know
that's with Patterson starting, right?
Right. Because I feel like
we haven't even talked about Jeremy Grant, who just has been disappointing. And it's just like,
in the
he's been struggling.
In the scrimmage in a preseason game, he's been disappointing. That's correct.
why is he playing like Carmelo Anthony plays? That's my question. I'm not saying as far as inefficiency goes, I'm not saying anything like. I'm literally saying the way he's playing. He's catching the ball, he's holding it for a second, then he puts it on the floor going nowhere, and he does like one crossover and he fires up a shot.
You know what I think?
He looks
I think
uncomfortable.
I think he's adjusting to the fact that
Noel's.
I mean, think about it this way: like, remove everything, remove all the the Twitter, and just think about us as people.
I'm not thinking about
he
Twitter
just
at
got
all
this.
right
yeah,
now.
don't think about, dude. Don't think about it. Think about, dude. Jeremy Grant's just a young kid. Just he's what is he, like 23, 24?
Something like that.
So he just had
14.
an organization.
Young kid.
Their
He's an
second
adolescent.
move after re-signing Paul George was re-signing him. I think that probably does things to you mentally. You start thinking like, man, I got to really go out there, and especially in a preseason game where, the normal pecking order that's like, yo, I know Russ and PG, like I know Adams, like all these guys that normally get the ball. Maybe you go out there and you think like, man, I got to really show my dominance. Like, this is who I am. They just signed me. And then you don't. But the thing is, that's not his game. Schroder and Adams, those guys, that's their game. They're starters. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Grant's not a starter, but Grant's not a guy that can stand on his own. And Adams and Schroder are.
But I think that is Grant's game. No, Grant's game is one-on-one, getting to the rim, and forcing the ball to go in the basket.
He did get fouled a bit last night,
But to your
true.
point, I think part of the point you're making is the fact that maybe he feels
he's
like
overcompensating maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he's taking on this perceived role that he has a little too. I don't know, a little too heavily.
But think about last season when Grant would excel. It was when the game came to Grant. Grant was always... The thing about Jeremy Grant that I love is that he's always so unassuming. He would just come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, Grant's going to town here. He's dunking, he's doing all this. For me, when you go into the game I'm going to be that guy, it may not be the game to be that guy.
Well, and
what do you guys think? Am I wrong? Can he always be that guy?
I feel like he kind of steps up to the situation. Whenever there's a big game, he's like,
right.
Oh, I'm gonna step up, and it's just he kind of feels it along with the game. And like I said earlier, I think there's a little bit of feeling out that he and Nerlens have to do to play together, because they're both kind of rim protector defenders, and it's a weird thing for them. To me, he's more of a surge block type of player, whereas Nerlens is kind of, I'm just going to protect the rim. But
and to be fair to Grant, he's 1 for 9 from the field last night, but he still got to the line 6 times, and that's something
that's the thing he improved so much last year was, I'm going to get to the line.
Right.
I know how to get fouled, and he's figuring that out.
He's 1 for 9, but he continues to be aggressive.
Yeah.
It felt like Jeremy Grant especially, but Nerlens as well, it felt like no one could finish.
Yeah.
But there was just
everyone.
So many these 0-foot shots.
Yeah, Steven
just
had that.
would not go in.
Schroeder had that a couple times.
It did seem a little discombobulated.
It wasn't just those guys, but it just was more prevalent with those guys because they were 1 for 9 or 2 for whatever.
So
like Brandon said earlier, this could all change.
Right.
We could see Grant go off for 24 points tomorrow, or tomorrow. And
it's one game.
Yeah, so you don't know. We're just
one game.
We're grasping at straws here.
So a fun exercise. I don't know if an exercise we could do here on this Roberson news.
You guys want to cry together?
We can do that.
I'm going to do that already.
Or how about this? So if we were to do some digging, we got to find the positives out of this situation. What are those positives?
You develop this 2-guard position
TLC,
that's so
Ferguson,
crazy.
Diallo.
You find which
Abrinas.
guy is going to step up.
Yes,
that's the positive to me. Is you figure out which guy is going to do it.
Okay,
or
do you have a positive on the heels of that, saying I feel confident that this guy will?
No,
I do.
That's where I'm at.
So
too.
initially I did not, but here's the thing. Let's pretend out all systems go. Everybody's healthy. Abrinas and Ferguson cannot coexist, especially with Felton now looking like he may be the same guy that he was last season, and him maybe playing the 2 with Schroder, who we think maybe even needs more minutes than maybe he was going to get. Abrinas and Ferguson, they cannot both
Before you
be
continue,
the guy.
Schroeder's got to play 30 minutes, right? He's got to play 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think
he's too good.
Unless something bad is happening and all of a sudden you look and you're like, it's not working.
On the team.
Right.
So
he's a top 5 player on the team.
Yeah.
Maybe top 4.
So here's my thing.
What's
maybe
your thing?
here's golden scenario. Abrinas and Ferguson both step up. Ferguson's able to start playing really athletically, playing defense. He's able to maybe shoot some off the bench, maybe shoot some threes. He drives. He's able to coexist with the bench point guard. And then Abrinas is able to be who we wanted him to be, the spot-up shooter, plays better defense. He mentioned to me over at Media Day that he feels like the thing that he's really excited about is that his defense, he feels like over the offseason has been a lot better.
Guys,
maybe we are able to develop one of those players, and then we have trade bait, and then Roberson comes back.
is this just the most Thunder
yeah,
ever?
it is. Dude, it is so Thunder.
Because
dude.
here's the thing.
I'm not trying to be negative.
No, I get
Here's
it.
the thing. Last season was so just like, God, Paul George, what's going to happen with Paul George? And then what's going to happen to Russell Westbrook? Because, well, whatever. Paul George resigns. Oh, my God, we're ecstatic. Oh, my God, Jeremy Grant also signed?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything's fine.
What an amazing
All right,
summer.
but then
oh, my
Thunder-
God, you were able to trade Carmelo Anthony, and you got Dennis Schroeder. This is incredible.
You didn't even have to have that cap hold.
Then now
Andre Roberson's hurt.
it's finally basketball season. Oh, well.
Everything's wrong again.
Russ just
Guys, I have to say
Hold
something.
on, can I finish?
No, sorry.
No, Russ just had surgery, so he's going to be out
yeah,
for a
that
little
sucks.
while. Robertson's out. He
For
got hurt.
longer than you'd hoped.
Wow, now that just got extended. No Paul George last minute last night. Just all of a sudden, no, he's not playing.
Well, that was a personal reason.
Thunder classic Thunder shoot 37% from the field and
that
lose.
free throw
And then we're
percentage
just
went
sitting here and we're like, well, you know, it was a fun summer. There was a lot of fun during the summer.
That's what we end up with.
And then we're here.
I feel like it just got real negative.
But I'm not meaning to do that, but it's just like the most Thunder thing ever that just happened.
No, it is.
Like, this is just what happens to us.
We can't buy one. And so, like, we finally have everything going right for our team, our city. Everything's trending in the right direction, and then we get our just shit on all
Guys,
over again.
we
What
can't-
is it?
I
What are
gotta
we
say
doing
something.
wrong?
I just snapped out of something. Guys, we can't.
I was at Mercy Hospital yesterday, and they had these little prayer request slips. I should have filled one of
Did
those
you?
out.
You didn't, dude.
No, I
and now
should've.
here we are,
It would have worked, probably.
dude. Guys, I said this last season.
You
like,
should've filled
I
it
know
out,
that
though.
there
You
was a
fucked
lot
up.
of catalysts for last season, but dude, Andre Roberson cannot be the source of this much. Like, dude, I know that his defense is unrivaled, and you will find nobody that has more of an Andre Roberson upside than me. But like, dude, if
here.
Andre
We've been doing this for years,
Roberson,
bro.
if he is the only reason that this team is either really great or not great, last year there were so many other things. Billy didn't have it together.
But here's
Russ
the
didn't
thing.
have it
Here's
together.
the thing,
Melo
Jacob.
didn't have it together.
I'm with you. To me, it's indefensible to have a roster makeup where Andre Roberson is that important to your success.
Just the crux of everything.
However,
He might be.
the fact is, to this roster, I think he is.
He might be.
It
It's
goes
weird.
back. We talked about it last podcast, right? How Sam Presti talked about how, well, I'd love to have more shooting on this team. Us too, Sam. Us too. You look at them.
Agreed,
you look at that field goal percentage last night, bro. Like, not good.
Hey,
Not
good free throws. 78% from
You're
the
right.
free
Free
throws.
throws, they stepped up. Thanks, Schroder.
However,
Appreciate it, bud.
just the way it is, like the wings on this team are Andre Roberson, Paul George, and then you hope on a night here and there, Alex Abrinas or Terrence Ferguson step up.
Or they're going to be amazing,
And
according.
well, I'm not saying they're going to be amazing, but there is a golden scenario where one of these guys builds its trade value, and then he's gone at the deadline, and then you have somebody better. And I'm just saying it could happen.
And it has to happen if this team wants to be
we at least
what
have
they
some
want.
pieces.
Right?
And by the way, one of my preseason predictions in the summer was that I thought that Abrinas was either going to be the guy or he was going to be gone, because I think that like I've said, I've maintained I do not think that Abrinas and Ferguson can coexist. If in this scenario you are able to let both players fill the role that they need to, and they both operate fundamentally well, you have now a piece of trade bait, because then you have Roberson. Roberson's not trade bait. You can't trade him. Like, how can you? He's already like.
Oh, his value's way too diminished at this
well,
point.
and he was even before that. He was very polarizing, because it was like, is he worth that money? Like, I don't know. Like, it'd be hard to move Roberson.
Of course he is.
Yeah,
Sam
but like
could do it.
But if a team like Denver, a team that struggles offensively,
That's
is
true.
like, we could really use this guy. I think he carries a lot of weight. Now, right now, obviously not. I mean, there's a lot of questions about what he's even going to be in the future. This is a big time injury. injury.
Yeah,
And this was before he was coming back. So the fact that there's a setback,
Right.
I mean, further would further
this
hurt
injury
his
is
trade
not
value.
something to just play around with. Like it's a serious thing.
Man,
And
guys,
also,
you
like, the
don't want a setback in
does not make me feel
October,
good.
dude. You don't want it this
Tough.
late. That's not good.
And I feel bad for him.
He's
Like,
not
I
playing-
like him a lot as a person. Like just hearing him talk at media day.
I know,
Like
man.
I really feel bad for him.
Dude,
like just as a guy.
Man,
you know, we talked about
he
earlier.
He finally proved his worth. He finally proved to the
Yes.
haters,
Exactly.
like, look how important I am.
He's sat there for like 4 years of people just shitting on him, and then was like, "Hey, look at what I'm doing.
Look what I could
look
be
how
doing."
good
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am."
Yeah.
And then gone.
No.
I think
And
for me,
I just really want him to come back. The
one
same
of
guy.
Brandon asked earlier in the season when we had a show together, do you think that it's time to panic? Do we worry about Roberson saying it could be December? And we all said no. And or at
Jacob's
least I said
panicking.
no. I'm not panicking, but I am saying
He's halfway
you
to
don't want to
panicking.
step back in October when the dude's not even doing contact. The dude's doing nothing right now. The dude will have, right at this point in time, there will be no point further that he will be doing less.
Is he going to be
And
in the Big
he's
Lebowski
he's already having a setback. Like, that's concerning. You do have to say, okay, initially I wasn't concerned. Now maybe I'm a little concerned.
So
Am I wrong?
One, we don't know what the setback is.
We don't
So
know that.
It's 2 months, though.
It is 2 months, but however, the dude tore his patellar tendon.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The fact that he was even going to be back when he was going to be back,
kind of amazing.
that's amazing to begin with.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So,
I
so
agree
let's
with you.
pump the brakes on a setback, putting him to December. Dude, if I tore my patellar tendon, I probably couldn't be walking at this point.
Fair point
if
by
I tore
Justin
what
here.
Andre
I'm out for
Roberson
about
did.
7
That's true.
years.
Yeah.
Also, fair point by Justin because
yeah.
because
I agree.
No one really knew when he was going to come back, anyways.
Right.
There was the
Right.
whole discussion of that December I'm going to be back to myself thing.
Right, and
That
this-
might have just been back on the court.
yeah.
Now it is back on the court.
Right. Well, it could,
Before-
Well, that could have been the. I mean, we're talking early December right now, where he's set to be evaluated. Maybe that was going to be the timeline anyway.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe to your point, when do you
Maybe
think
it was
this
like a
setback
1 week
happened?
setback. I
Do
don't
you
know.
think that setback happened today, or do you think it happened 2 weeks ago, or, 3 weeks
maybe
ago?
he just did a test and it was like, wow, he's not really kind of where we thought he was going to
Yeah.
be, and. But, you know, using the language setback makes you think
That's
that...
what I'm worried about. I'm like, what does that mean? Did something bad happen, or is
Yeah.
he just not progressing as slow? If it's
He
a
was
thing of, like,
riding
he's
one of
not-
those scooters around town that we have
Goddamn
everywhere.
lime scooters.
Yeah, that's what it was.
the Lime setback.
I bet.
That's what happens.
So is it
Break
at
your knee.
all super just out of the question that Terrence Ferguson could be like a second-year Andre Roberson back when he was still really raw? Obviously, he's like better offensively than Andre Roberson, or even a really kind of that raw, like that Tabo that first year when he was still trying to figure out the team. Maybe not,
Tabo's not a
as
bad
great
comparison.
defensively, but kind of a melding of the two. That first year Tabo, that second year Andre, where they were still trying to figure it out, but you could see kind of the seeds being planted. Is it that far-fetched to think that Terrence Ferguson, with the way his body is, the physical jumps that he's made over this offseason, is it that far-fetched to think that he could be that by, hell, even Thanksgiving? I don't think it is.
I know. See, I that's the hope. I mean, you have to hope. That's what the Thunder drafted this guy for,
Yeah.
right? Just like they drafted Robertson in exactly the situation that you laid out.
You get a guy for a reason. You see it in him for a reason.
Now, do I have faith that Terrence Ferguson can have the kind of impact that a guy like Robertson could have? I don't. Now,
Okay,
even when
That's
you
what-
even
really
when you
young.
say that Terrence Ferguson might be better offensively than Robertson, I don't even think that.
It's almost like
I
slight.
don't even, like he's a better shooter. He's a better shooter.
You're
But
Small
that's it.
counterpoint. Small counterpoint. Just consider, and again, very different situations, but consider the impact that Brewer had when he came in. You're not writing anything on Andre or on Corey Brewer, but I could see Ferguson. This isn't just a thing of like, oh, now I'm just waiting for Robertson to feel better. Now he knows it's 2 months before they even check to see if he's feeling better.
He's a starter, right?
Ferguson?
Yeah.
I think Abrina starts. That's my personal opinion.
I think it's going to be Ferguson.
It's too much. Going back to my plug and play thing, Ferguson is your best
fits.
plug and play. He's played a full season at this point. Like if he's not ready, he's not ready. But
Now-
you have to throw him out there. You got to see what
I
happens.
do wonder if Billy messes around with Schroder. I really, really do.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I can see that because
Because dude,
it's not like you don't have a third option at point guard. Like even if you
Right.
do stagger the thing, you have like
Sure.
a.
You're going to play Felton anyways.
You could spell him for a minute. You can throw Felton out there for a bit,
Right.
and then rest those
and
two.
you're going to play him anyway, so what does it matter? So you just rotate those
and
guys.
If the Russ Schroeder thing works,
Dude,
I mean, it could
Russ
be
can guard
one of the
power.
most
why not
power-
do that?
Russ can guard power forwards. Like you don't need. It's not like
It's true.
Like
Just so you guys know, there's so many people over there. They're all not there, but they're over there.
You can
That's
put
true,
you can
there.
put Schroeder. You can have him guard the one. You can have whoever guard the two.
Russ
Like you
can do
have-
whatever.
Yeah.
Russ can guard whoever.
I mean, if you want to play that 3-point guard lineup like we were talking about, I'm just saying Russ isn't a guy that you can't play another point guard with because you'll have defensive issues. Man, Russ will get down there and dirty on the block.
How many point guards could you ever say, like, oh, yeah, he's
Right.
6'3", like, Magic
He can just
Johnson,
guard
okay,
whatever.
Magic Johnson was huge. Russell Westbrook is 6'3", you're like, yeah, he could guard a power forward, that's
just 'cause
fine.
he's
By
a
the way,
monster.
I'm very skeptical of the 6'3" number of Russell Westbrook, though. You see him stand next to other guys that are listed similarly to him, height-wise. He's taller, man. It's weird.
It is weird.
Like I remember watching him, or
I remember standing by him and be like, "What the fuck?"
I think he's closer to 6'5". I
mean,
really do.
We did hear that,
Yeah.
like, I hate bringing this guy up, but we did hear that one player that was here for a long time that was
Jeremy
really
Lamb.
good.
Never heard of him.
He was so he was listed at
Terry
6'9", but that was just because of the
third.
combine.
Right.
Because he felt like being a small forward, 6'9" was a better height to be with. Heights are wrong.
Yeah.
They're
very
very wrong.
wrong in the NBA.
Yeah.
Also, Russ is a big dude, and he's a beast, and it doesn't even matter how tall he is.
Well, let's wrap
is a
this portion up. It is a bummer that we had to, we skipped a game that we
Hate
had
it.
planned. We're gonna lay it over to
It
next
was
week.
going to be fun. Instead, it was very depressing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
really.
guys.
Hey, that's the Thunder way, huh?
That's
Yeah.
that's showbiz, baby.
It was gonna be
Showbiz.
It was gonna be fun, and then no. So let's just get on to some questions from the viewers. So I knew you weren't ready, but
Wasn't ready.
I was trying to set you
But
up.
I'm about to be.
I was trying to set you up, but you totally didn't get the sign.
Social media inclined.
You were quick to it, though.
I was. You're right.
I gotta pee.
That's not a good time.
No,
You're supposed to read all these.
no, I'm not going to go, but I'm just saying, like, I want our listeners to know that I'm enduring things to stay in here to read your questions on the air.
He got so serious about it. Also, I have to pee.
I also
a little
have to
bit.
pee.
Same.
Beer.
Hey, I'm just saying we could stop this and we can just
No.
cut that.
Nope.
No,
We're gonna keep going.
I want to roll through this.
Fine.
I am
That was the
soldiering
whole-
on.
That was the whole point.
From Branxo at Branxo. Given our best shooters tonight, we're Abrinas and Pat and two Pat. They surely didn't get to shoot a lot. Any reasons why? We seem to never capitalize on our best perimeter shooters unless it's PG. Hope it changes this season.
I think it's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
the Thunder don't have a very good track record of
Yeah.
getting Abrinas good looks when he's a guy that's clearly the best
Is it
standstill
their
shooter.
fault or is it his fault? I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with that.
That's fine, but
he actually did a bit better job last night to me of trying to get open. I still think he had trouble doing it though.
yeah, I mean, they at least had a couple plays lined up where he came around some screens
Yeah.
and some motion and got him some looks, but I mean, it's a fair question. Like, you got to get these. You're not going to be able to keep up with teams that are raining threes on you if you
Yeah.
don't shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, important note that I literally just saw in front of me. According to ESPN's BPI, the Thunder have a 53% chance to reach the conference semifinals. I mean, it was literally right there in front of me. Moving on
Interesting.
from Todd Lytle at the tweets of Todd. He changed his handle. I swear it used to be Todd Lytle something. He's
Some number
changed
or
his
something?
handle. Yeah. Chocolate Soldier or Yoo-Hoo.
Chocolate Soldier.
Only OG Okies know this.
Ooh, Chocolate Soldier
What
all
is
the way.
what is? I don't even know
So
what that
it's
is.
basically a chocolate milk type of drink, like a Yoo-Hoo. My dad worked in the oil field, and I used to go to locations with him, and I would get a Chocolate Soldier like every time I went, and it was amazing.
So
and
what's
that's like
the
a
difference
childhood
between that
thing.
and a Yoo-Hoo? Because
They're
Yoo-Hoo's
practically
incredible.
the same, but
I
they're
love
not.
Yoo-Hoos, man.
Chocolate Soldier is better.
I've never had one.
You were all wrong.
I've had Yoo-Hoo.
You get
I've never
outta
had
here.
a
I
chocolate
didn't
stuff.
say anything,
Get to
sir.
stepping, boy.
They're wrong.
You're right.
You know.
Also, I do still take offense to the term Okies because it was referred like people in
God.
Oklahoma
History
that
lesson.
left.
Here it goes.
Grapes of
geez.
Wrath. If you left Oklahoma, you're an Okie. I've always been here. I've never left
an
here. I'm an
Okla.
Oklahoman,
Oh.
not an Okie.
You say the full thing.
Yeah. Hey, you pronounce it all the way. Fuck you, bud.
Only you would take offense to the term Okie.
Tourette's kicked in for a minute.
No, the Predator scored. From Always in Forever Art at Always in Forever Art. Do you think the pressure of a competition at the starting 4 spot is affecting Jeremy Grant mentally? I 100% think it should be Patterson, but Grant looked like he wasn't playing without thinking, but was thinking way too much.
I kind of think it goes back to my personal thinking is what it goes back to what I was saying is I think that he feels like he's taking on a new role, a bigger role. He has an increased workload, and he's just trying to fulfill that. He might be pressing a little
Trying
bit.
a little too hard.
Yeah, trying too hard. I mean, it didn't help that they put him on the blue team or the white team, whichever one was the bad team at the scrimmage.
Blue team.
Yeah, and do you know that team shot 1 for 23
They were
from 3 at the scrimmage?
Oh,
It
jeez.
felt like that, but I didn't
Lord
actually see
have
the
mercy
stat of
on
that.
our souls.
I think Sam Presti's just banking on them eliminating the 3-point line. He's like, they're doing it. Don't worry, guys.
It's cool. It's going away.
Or at least moving it out or
As
something.
they bring in a 4-point line.
Yeah. Ooh,
Missed
this
it.
is not the direction I thought it was going.
I thought we were going inward.
Just a bit outside.
No, I think we've got to hope that Grant finds his groove, though, right? I mean, this is very
will.
important to this team.
I mean,
Like
at
I
this
said
point in the
before.
season, if he hasn't found his groove, I don't know if he'll ever find it.
I almost threw your mic across the room.
it is a little scary because he is one-dimensional offensively, but he's so long and lanky. He's so good at kind of what he does that I do have faith in him, but
After this one preseason game, I don't know.
2. I'm counting the scrimmage too.
Yeah,
'cause he
don't
was,
count that shit.
He was real bad.
It was
in
bad. Yeah, he was really bad.
He might have been worse in the scrimmage than he was in the.
I mean, I think there's a little bit of the I'm pressured to be a starter, and then also I have to get used to playing with this other guy that's similar to me, and we both have to do this.
It'll help a lot when he's sharing
They're
the
gonna
court
get comfy.
with
That's his name.
Moving on
No,
from
that
the Big
wasn't
Kiwi at Steven Adams Son 1. May change when Russ comes back, but I found it interesting the Thunder were looking to have Adams initiate offense. Thoughts? A guy that we haven't really talked about a whole lot, Steven Adams, who had, I still feel I had a really great night last night.
Probably the best night.
Good night. A little more kind of like the questioner's saying, a little more responsibility last night than he's
Yeah,
used to having.
for sure.
But yeah, I think that any sort of creativity Billy Donovan can implement on the offensive side of the ball is going to be helpful. Like if you can get Adams on the high post and have him pivoting and looking for backdoor cutters, that's huge, man.
Also, the way he just palms the ball and almost throws it to people.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
It's incredible. Like, where he's like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give it to you.
Seriously though, like Adams, man, that guy is good.
He's really good.
Very
He's
good.
not just a product of a perennial all-star point guard.
Yeah.
He's not. He's
just actually good at basketball.
Like, I think I tweeted last night, like, yeah, the Schroder and Adams chemistry that you're seeing, it's crazy. It's really awesome. But is there a good point guard in the league that Adams wouldn't have chemistry with? Like, I think he's
That's
just
a
that
super
good.
solid point.
That's true.
I think he's a guy that would
But it's
just
also
adapt.
cool. It's also cool that there's been talk about how Schroder has asked him where he likes the ball. I just think that's a really cool thing
Yeah.
for Schroder.
Adam's like, anywhere in my 14-foot.
He's like, well, I usually
It's
catch
just,
it.
I don't know, Mike.
I usually catch it
I
at
don't know,
my
Mike.
ankles.
yeah.
So anywhere above that.
What if he answers those questions from teammates the same way he does in media? I don't know, mate. I don't know. Anyway,
Just-
I don't know. Doesn't really matter, mate. I don't know.
Just
We'll figure it all
So,
out.
confused look.
We'll figure it all out. I don't know.
That's too Australian. I think you take offense
Yeah,
to
you're
that.
right.
It
no.
is. It is.
Yeah.
What do I get, an award? If you get it up here, does it matter?
Next.
Very Australian.
Next
from New
Yeah,
Zealand.
you're
I don't
right.
know if you knew that.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
From Russ. Also, you always have to end it with, so yeah.
So, yeah.
And then look at someone else.
From Russ. Hey, Russ tweeted us.
It's about time.
At Russell Winburn. What do you think Schroeder's season high in scoring is?
47. Nailed it.
42.
42?
I'll take
Oh,
it
you're
off
not
the
going
air.
to keep doing this,
Holy
right?
shit.
No, I just said 42.
I thought
are you
you
going
stood in the accent.
Oh, no. No, just
God
42.
damn it. It's stuck.
No,
What do you got, B?
29.
Woo, I'm way over. Oh, God.
I'll go with 31.
Price is right at us.
Now,
Right in the middle.
I think my 29 is based on Russ not missing any regular season games.
See, that's where my 47 comes into play.
Oh, wow. First game of the season against Golden State, 47.
Sorry, I thought you meant just in his career up till now. What his
No.
season high
Well,
was.
that's a
And I was
ridiculous
like, well,
thought.
you could
You can
Google
look
it.
that
I
up,
thought it
yeah.
was like a thing that like he
That's
just
not it.
assumed we didn't know.
How well is your understanding?
You ever listened to before?
No, it's not well,
It's
mate.
not there.
I don't know. I don't know, mate.
All right, next question.
All right, you get to fucking stop that right now.
I don't know.
Is that it?
Yeah.
No,
next.
I've got one more. Yeah, I've got one more. And this is, I saved this for last because I'm super excited about this. And obviously, T isn't from the U.S., so it's awesome. So, from T, at Drinking Tea, I've been to the U.S. twice, and whenever I've been to Disney World or Universal Studios, you just see people holding turkey legs bigger than their faces. Like, this is in all caps. Like, why are they so big? No other country has them, and why are you guys walking around so casually with them? What is the obsession? Like, the State Fair of Texas this weekend.
T's never been to an Oklahoma State fair.
This is awesome.
That's for sure.
No, it's
By the
is
way,
ridiculous.
I want to show some appreciation to him because he consistently asks us good questions
does.
that we
He's
feel
solid.
obligated to insert into our Twitter questions
Yeah.
because they're always good.
They're
So,
fun and creative.
We
and I
appreciate you,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
and we like questions like that. Now, this is an interesting question because it's like a culture divide here.
yeah.
He's clearly never had a gigantic turkey leg,
Right.
which is delicious.
Who doesn't want that, bro?
Well, okay,
First of all, he has to come over. Like, he needs to come back.
I will say they're usually bland, like at the fair, like you get
They're
it.
really not that
They're
good.
not as good as you had hoped.
Yeah.
Like, when you see somebody with it, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's got to be amazing.
Ooh, I'd like to be a caveman for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's disappointing.
45,
Yeah.
more like
You're like-
3.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like I always see people.
Do you just go off to the side just and then throw it off?
I don't
just
know.
like
I just feel like whenever
like a
you
Looney
see,
Tunes just saw him through
whenever
it.
people are walking around with those, have you noticed you never see them down to the bone? You only see the mostly thing with like 6 bites taken
That's
out of it.
because those guys don't. I like to pretend it's a big old chicken wing. Like, y'all got any blue
Whoa.
cheese?
So I will say, like, I mean, turkeys
Bougie
are
chicken wings.
turkeys are a really important thing in American culture. Like, we've always, like, the turkey was almost the national bird.
It's our peacemaking
over the American eagle.
It's
So
our peacemaking before we slaughtered all
Yeah,
the Indians.
It's Thanksgiving. It's
Yeah.
hand turkeys.
Smoked well.
there's a reason why we eat so much turkey in this country. It's because it's an important part of our culture.
And it's good on sandwiches also.
We produce a lot
And
of
also,
turkey
I
here.
don't know
We
if you
eat a
knew
lot of
it's
turkey.
Delicious.
Yeah, it tastes real good.
Let's just try one out. Let's just try one out, T.
Yeah,
try
just give us. It is a little. I would
It's weird.
imagine
It's-
it's a
I
little
agree,
weird,
it's weird.
when you're walking around. You're like, what is that person
Like, just
doing?
everyone's just casually
It's-
eating a gigantic leg of a turkey.
Yeah.
And you're like, turkeys aren't even that big.
Especially if it's someone who just appears to be very unhealthy, and you're like, oh, bro, maybe cut it back a bit.
Maybe don't eat the whole leg.
Maybe just ask for the bites.
What about just a chicken bite? What about a turkey bite?
Maybe ask for the poppers next time.
Poppers.
Turkey poppers.
Popcorn turkey?
I think this place closed like 14 minutes ago.
Yeah, probably.
No, we're good.
We're good?
Yeah. It's 7:54.
We're trying to do some notes.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
okay. We'll talk about it later.
It's French and German.
It's all right. Everyone's wondering what the hell just happened there in here. Everyone's very curious.
No one expected that. All right.
It appears that some version of the OKC Sunset uniforms may be coming back, everybody. According
Everyone
to, huh?
exploded in applause just then.
Yeah, they did.
I imagine.
According to Casey Vitelli on Twitter, each of the 16 playoff teams will add an earned edition to their uniform set. So if you made the playoffs last season, you get an earned edition of uniform.
Even if you got kicked out in the first round.
Yes.
Hey, we don't talk about
Hey,
that.
too much
That's right.
negativity
Shit your
here.
meal.
I'm so sorry.
Shit your
YouTube
dang
commenter.
mouth.
I'm sorry, YouTube commenter.
It will be cool to have the sunset uniforms come back, whether it's those exact ones or whether it's. I imagine there'll be a different spin, but it will be cool.
I agree.
Sunset, not orange.
Kyle Singler has agreed to terms with a Spanish team. What a great move! It's going to be a great move. It's going to be a super safe move for
Good
that
job, bud.
team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like he's going to be a guy that's just going to play his role there, and they have nothing to worry about, right?
And-
Just like we were.
And he took Spanish lessons from Alex last season.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
I assume.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll know how to talk to him.
In the annual GM survey, OKC was picked third in the West, Russell Westbrook was named the most athletic, and Steven Adams was named the toughest player in the NBA. By the way, Andre Roberson got no love as far as the best perimeter defender goes.
It's some bullshit.
Who got it?
I'm upset.
Who got it? Oh,
He didn't even play
the
all
guy
of
that
last
didn't even
season.
play?
Thank you so much.
All right. Getting service here.
if-
do you have more? Do you have room for... Okay.
She had to sub out.
Good service here, he says, as he's just someone take it.
It is good
I
service.
forced him into serving me. Per Billy Donovan,
Shit.
Paul George will play tomorrow at Minnesota. Abdul Nader is still out.
Jimmy Butler? Not
Russell Westbrook,
playing.
and as we said earlier, Andre Roberson remain out. The Thunder, last but not least, the Thunder, this is what I was referring to earlier, guys, have the 7th highest secondary market ticket prices in the league, which is interesting because let me tell you this. These are the teams that are behind. And instead of giving you their mascots, I'll give you the cities. Golden State, so San Francisco, Los Angeles Lakers, New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics, and Brooklyn Nets. And
Those
then,
poor Bulls
and then it's the Thunder.
That's really
Like
impressive.
that's really
That's
cool,
impressive.
right?
That's
Like I know it
super
sucks
impressive.
for everyone trying to go to the game, but it's
No,
like
that's
kind of a
impressive.
cool thing.
So that's
what you want.
Also-
3 of the 4 most populous and 4 of the most, like, 6 or 7 most populous.
Yeah, and plus you got Boston, who's just, they're probably really excited about their team this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
The Bulls make no sense why they're there, but it's just the Bulls.
It's Chicago.
It's Chicago.
That's the name.
And
That's
then
a bummer.
And then the Nets, you're in New York. I mean, like, it's just everything is
Yup.
way more expensive than it should be.
But this is secondary market, so it's like resale.
Right.
Right.
So, but still, like, that's...
Were the Spurs on that list?
Does that count
Spurs
like...
are just a little behind the Thunder.
Does
feels good.
Does that count like ticket, like
That's
the NBA tickets, all that stuff? Like, does that count as the
I
secondary
don't know what
market?
the I don't know what the sources
Okay.
are. I mean, I imagine they're resale.
Because that's an interesting thing.
pulling a
NBA
Chris
tickets,
Broussard?
it's like it's a weird, like it is resale, but it's not really resale. It's kind of
Right.
in that middle.
I think it's all like resale, so like StubHub,
Okay.
Ticketmaster resale, stuff like that. I think, don't quote me on that, but I'm guessing that that's it.
That's interesting.
It's pretty cool though, right?
That is neat.
I think it's
that
cool.
just shows how
I think
important
it's cool.
Thunder basketball is to Oklahoma City
Oh,
and how much
absolutely.
people are willing to pay to go to a Thunder game, which,
Yeah, that's awesome.
file me in that. All right, man. Thanks for tuning in. I think we're about wrapped up here.
Let's do this.
Everyone's trying to kick us out.
Yeah.
People are just standing around us staring at us like, get out of here.
Yep.
They took all
It's
of our
awkward. It's
glasses.
time to go.
Thanks for tuning
Look at
in.
it.
We didn't live stream this one. It will be up on YouTube. I don't know why I'm saying this because you're either watching YouTube or you're completely done with the podcast. So what's the purpose? Thanks to Scissors and Scotch for having us out for their celebratory happy hour. It was really, really fun. So thanks to everyone who came out. You got to come check out this place, Jason. You got your haircuts looking sharp.
It's fantastic.
You can be the same. I got the tattoo, everybody, last weekend.
Yep.
If you're watching the video, you probably have caught a glimpse of it. So I actually paid off the bet. We'll have a video revolving around it coming out soon. Subscribe to YouTube. You can watch all these videos and more live or on demand. You can subscribe on iTunes. Hit us with that 5 stars, man. Do us a favor. It really does help. Thunder are back tomorrow at Minnesota. Sunday in Tulsa versus the Hawks. And then they wrap up the preseason on Tuesday versus the Bucks at the Peak. We will be back with our season preview next Thursday. Hopefully, I'm not going to confirm anything yet, but hopefully with a special guest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sugar to who?
So till then,
The suspense is
it's
killing me.
it's Donald Trump.
Oh,
I'm
God damn
kidding.
it. I quit.
I'm kidding.
No, 100% I want to be there for that.
No, that's yeah.
Just see what happens.
What is this?
You never know.
Anyways, so it's not him. It's not him.
It's not him, guys.
But anyways.
Till then, and as always,
He did text me the other day.